Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fantasy Pros Sunday Game Day live stream, the 11 a.m. Eastern live stream. I'm Pat Fitzmaurice of Fantasy Pros. Find me on Twitter at Fitz_FF. Hope you all had a great holiday. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, I hope it was a merry one. And boy, big day right on the heels of the holiday. So let's get to it. Let's answer some lineup questions for the next hour, and I'll try to talk through some of these and maybe give you my reasoning as to why I like or dislike certain players more than others. And we're going to start with David Olivier. I hope I pronounced that correctly, David. Anyway, better upside this week, Matt Ryan or Nick Foles? Yeah, I think it's Matt Ryan. We're not talking about huge upside with Nick Foles. I think coming in cold to start in Seattle. Not crazy about that Bears offense. I mean, we saw how clunky it looked against the Vikings last week, and Fields is certainly more talented than Foles. So I'm going to go Ryan there. Ryan McAnally asks, pick two, full PPR, Adam Thielen, Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase. You got to play Chase this week against this wounded Baltimore secondary. I think he's getting a guy named Kevon Seymour against him for most of his snaps, who's like a journeyman who's starting his first game of the year. Got to play the Bengals receivers. And I like Waddle a little more than Thielen coming off the injury. I mean, we're not even 100% sure Thielen's going to go. It seems like he will, but I think you got to go Waddle. The Saints have had a lot of trouble with slot receivers lately. So Roy White says, would you start Jalen Hurts over Patrick Mahomes? I would not. Obviously, with Travis Kelce out, that's kind of a blow to Mahomes, but man, we saw the upside against the Chargers in week 15. And I know it's been an erratic season for Mahomes, and Hurts has put up more quarterback 1 weeks than anyone else this year. I'm sticking with Mahomes here. I just can't push Hurts past him. At least Mahomes still has Tyreek Hill. Adam C. asked, in standard PPR, I don't know what standard PPR is, so I guess just PPR, pick three Diggs, AB, Mixon, or Ronald Jones. I'm going to say that AB would probably be the odd guy out for me. Wide range of outcomes for him in his first game back. Like physically, I think he's good to go, but who knows how the targets are going to be distributed with the Buccaneers. I don't think you want to start two of the Buccaneers options there. And Ronald Jones, let's talk about him just real quickly because I know he's been in a lot of questions this week. Rojo absolutely smashed last year in games that Fournette didn't play. Fournette was out in weeks 4 to 6 last week. Here are Ronald Jones' rushing lines in those games: 20 for 111 yards, no touchdowns; 17 for 106 yards, no touchdowns; 23 for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then again in week 14, he played 18 carries, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. And in those 4 games that Fournette missed, Jones averaged 3 catches too. He's a terrible pass catcher, but they're still going to throw to him because Brady does not like getting hit anymore at age 57 or whatever he is. And he's going to be dumping off a lot. So even though Rojo is not a good pass catcher, he's still going to get some looks today. I really like him. He's a top 10 option. I think I've got him at running back 8. Mary W., Van Jefferson or Kyle Pitts, standard league. I think I'm going Jefferson there. The floor just has not been sturdy with Pitts this season. We've seen a couple ceiling games, but way too often we've got the floor games. And I like Jefferson against a Minnesota secondary that I believe has given up more fantasy points to wide receivers than any other. Jamison Woodruff, Antonio Brown, Antonio Gibson, Waddle, or Justin Jackson in the half point PPR for upside. I'm going Justin Jackson there. Big workload incoming, we think. I mean, he's going to share some carries with Joshua Kelly, but Jackson has run catch versatility. He's handled a workhorse role. I mean, he played right here in my own backyard at the University of Northwestern in Evanston, and 1,000 yards rushing all 4 of his seasons. And he's also a pretty good pass catcher. Great matchup against the Texans, who have given up, I believe, more rushing yards than any other team this week. So, yeah, I think that's the way we're going there. All right, let's see what else we got here. The Touchy, I hope that's your name. Sorry, bro. Cole Kmet or Gerald Everett, Rojo or Madison. As much as I just sang Rojo's praises, I'm going with Madison over him. A little bit more proven, a little bit more talented, I think. Not a great matchup against the Rams, but not a terrible, daunting skull and crossbone matchup either. So I'm going with Madison there. Kmet over Everett. Man, that one's close too. But now with Lockett back, I just don't know if we're going to get that safe target floor with Everett that we had last week. And Kmet is kind of a more integral part of the Bears passing attack, I believe. Chris G with the defensive question: Buffalo or Cincy? I'm going Cincinnati here, going against that third string quarterback, Josh Johnson. I think that's the way to go. And the Patriots offense, it's been pretty hard to score defensive points on them this year. Yusuf Khan, Rojo or Justin Jackson? I like Rojo a little more. Both of those guys are top 12 plays this week, but I think I have Jackson at exactly 12, and I've got Rojo at 8. Sam Roebuck, full PPR league. Should I start Higgins or Antonio Brown in the flex? Again, I'm going Higgins. I am playing the guy for the Bengals against that Ravens defense, if at all possible. This is a matchup to lean into hard if you can. All right. So a mention of a giveaway here before we go any further. In the 12 noon live stream with Dan Harris, we will be doing a live giveaway right here on the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com. One lucky subscriber is going to receive an autographed Jerry Jeudy Denver Broncos jersey. And hey, that is going to be a more coveted item very soon, because as soon as the Broncos get that quarterback situation straightened out, Jerry Jeudy is going to start crushing it. How do you enter? It's simple, my friends. Subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel before today's 12 noon Eastern live stream. Ask a fantasy-related question in the YouTube chat during the show. That's it. We'll announce a winner at the end of the stream, so make sure you stick around to claim your prize. All right, let's keep it rolling with more starting lineup questions. Ignacio asks, Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Michael Carter? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, you have seen that steel tissue Pittsburgh run defense lately, and it is not good. I know it's hard to trust CEH. He's been pretty spotty all season. A lot of people thought he was going to smash it last week against a bad Chargers run defense. Let's give him a mulligan on that and keep rolling with him this week. Charles T. Hey, Pat from Germany. Hey, man. Nice of you to check in with us. Half point PPR, Justin Jackson or Barkley. Thank you. I'm going with Justin Jackson. That Giants offense is just so hard to trust right now. And their implied point total for this week, I think, is in the mid-teens with Jake Fromm at quarterback. Your odds of getting a touchdown out of Barkley are just not that good. And we've seen Devontae Booker look pretty decent and get a good amount of run for the Giants. So going Justin Jackson there. Mr. Chris, my producer friend, I'm not seeing any questions show up right now. Oh, there we go. There we go. We're good again. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah. All right. Matt Murray asks, Devontae Parker, Sony Michel, Henderson, I guess that's Daryl, need to start two of them. Yeah, you're not starting Henderson. I mean, it's clearly Sony Michel's show. We saw that last week, and now Cam Akers could possibly be active. Look, quick word about Akers for anyone who's considering asking about him. I don't expect him to, personally, I don't even expect him to be active today, but if he is, he's just going to get a handful of carries. There's no way in hell they are going to reinsert him as their lead back this soon. And it sounds like their goal is to get him ramped up for the playoffs. So they're going to work up to that real slowly. So I think it's going to be Sony getting probably 60 to 65% of the running back touches today for the Rams. Chris Hilly, I think that's it. Half point PPR, Renfro or Justin Jackson. Oh man, Chris, you're making it tough now. I got to go with the running back here. It's really tough to set Renfro as. Actually, no, I'm going to reverse that. I'm going Renfro. I just can't do it. 3 of the last 4 weeks, I mean, he is absolutely smashed with like 8 to 10 catches. That's just free gold in half point PPR. I'm going with Renfro there. It's really close though. Constantine, Damian Harris, or Carter. I'm going Harris. It's not a zero risk proposition with him nursing a bad hamstring injury tonight against the Bills, but today against the Bills, sorry. It's easier to run on the Bills than it is to throw, I think. And, if Harris goes with no Ramondre Stevenson, he's going to have a big role. A little relief on passing downs from Brandon Bolden, maybe the occasional J.J. Taylor changeup series, but it's going to be a lot of Damian Harris. Black Bortles says Miles Sanders or DJ Moore. For a second, I thought I was getting a lineup question involving Blake Bortles, and I was thrown for a loop here. I'm going Miles Sanders. After being considered maybe iffy with an ankle injury, missing some practice time this week, he was given no injury designation. And we saw that Sanders was operating as the lead role, the lead back for an Eagles offense that has run the ball on 64% of their offensive plays since, I believe, week 9. That is like a Big Ten run pass split. I mean, they are just so run heavy. Sanders is the main man. He looked great last week. I'm going back to the well. We just can't trust DJ Moore. I mean, now they're talking about playing Sam Darnold at quarterback for the Panthers this week. No thanks. Don't want to get back on that. Vinny asks, Heineke, Tua, or Big Ben? It's definitely not Heineke, Vinny. I'm going Tua. I've got him 2 spots in the rankings ahead of Big Ben. Big Ben had been pretty reasonably sturdy for the last couple of months. Sort of hit a road bump against the Titans in his last game. Tua, I just don't think Miami is going to be able to run on the Saints. I think they're going to be forced to be a little pass heavy. And, now that they have Waddle and Parker, that's a pretty nice combo for Tua to work with. So slight edge to Tua there. To the second power asks, Merry Christmas, Pat. Merry Christmas, man. Half point PPR. Got Andrews as my tight end 1. Who should I plug in as my flex? Gronk, Miles Sanders, Thielen, or Saquon? You know what? First of all, I think Gronk is a better play than Andrews this week with Evans and Godwin out for the Buccaneers. And with Josh Johnson, starting at quarterback for the Ravens. I don't know if we're going to get that same sort of mojo we've seen with Andrews and Huntley. So I think Gronk is the better play there. And the question is, should you flex Andrews over any of those guys? I would personally play Miles Sanders over Andrews. I just think you get a little bit more potential there with that running game hammer the Eagles have been using. So in half point, if it was full point, it might be different. In half, I'm going with Sanders there. All right. Who's next? Just a second. All right. Number 1 Chicago fan. Hey, man. Enjoy the nice weather in Chicago. Rojo or CD Lamb, half PPR. I'm going to Rojo there. Can never quite be sure how the targets are going to be distributed with the Cowboys. And, we have seen Dak in kind of a slump for the last, 5-6 weeks. I think I saw a stat there that Dak has in his career had 17 games where he has averaged less than 6 yards per pass attempt for his whole career, and 5 of them have come since the start of November. Cowboys passing game has just not been clicking, so I'm going with Rojo there. Mean Gene, is Cam Newton the starter this week? I think the answer is yes, he's the starter, but we've gotten the promise from Matt Rule, or at least strong hints, that we're going to see some of Sam Darnold. And I can't remember if it was Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter. I think it was Rappaport who reported it's going to be a pretty good amount of Sam Darnold, like not just a series or 2. I think we could see a lot of Sam Darnold, so that's kind of frightening if you're thinking about starting Cam this week. Cole Thrush asks, would you rather play Rashad Penny or risk DeAndre Swift? I would rather stick with the safer Penny option. I just don't know what that Detroit backfield is going to look like. That is one of the more inscrutable running back situations for this week. Tend to think that if Swift is active, it's going to be Swift Jamal Reynolds in that pecking order, but we're probably going to see all three contribute, maybe, no more than 40%. So whoever is number one gets like a plurality, but not a majority of the carries. I'd try to avoid that if at all possible. And Penny's a good enough option where I think you can. Mario Montenegro asks, Falcons or Patriots D? Oh man, I think I'm going with the Patriots here. I just can't. Tim Boyle might not be terrible and might not be the sort of interception machine that we saw Baker Mayfield be yesterday. I don't know. Like the Patriots just find a way to score fantasy points with their defense, and it seems like they're like that quite often. I'm sticking with them against Josh Allen. I think the Bills are going to be pass heavy, and I like going against a pass heavy team with the defense because you have more ways to score defensive points, sacks, interceptions than going against a run heavy team. And I think that the Lions are going to strive for balance with Tim Boyle at quarterback this week. Josh Word asks, half point PPR flex, Justin Jackson or Antonio Brown? Going with Justin Jackson there just because I think he's a good bet for 20 touches against a really shaky Texans defense. Taylon Davis, PPR, DJ Moore or Russell Gage? Man, Taylon, I'm such a DJ Moore fan. I can't believe I'm answering Russell Gage here, but this quarterback situation scares me for the Panthers, and Moore isn't fully healthy. We've seen Gage really click with Matt Ryan lately. He is the unquestioned wide receiver one, especially with Tajay Sharp not there anymore. I think we're going to get another 8+ Gage targets this week. Roll with Gage. James Jones asks, full point PPR need to Renfro, McLaurin, Carter, or Javonte? That one's pretty easy, my man. That's Renfro and Javonte. Got to go with your studs. And I think we're to the point where we can call Renfro a stud. Jake Wake. Love the name, man. Full PPR, pick two, McLaurin, Gibson, Jackson, Melvin Gordon. I'm going with the latter two, Jake. Jackson and Melvin Gordon. I think Jackson is a slam dunk. Melvin, a half load, in a pretty good matchup, I think, this week. Against the Raiders, who have not been real good against running backs. I think that's kind of the way to go. I just don't feel all that great about McLaurin or Gibson. A pretty tough matchup against Dallas. Gibson might not even go. And, you know how iffy it's been with McLaurin lately. So Low Cruz asks, Higgins or AB? Back to the well on those Bengals receivers, man. Play them against this battered Ravens secondary that has no Marlon Humphrey. Got to go there. Seatown Goof. Is Swift playing? I don't know yet. I don't know. We have not seen the actives, inactives yet, so I cannot answer that one just yet. That should be coming soon, probably in the next 15 to 20 minutes. Tommy V asks, lost Kelsey, full PPR, Komet, Everett, or Moreau? So I've already given someone a Komet over Everett, and that was kind of a close call. Do I like Moreau more than Komet? I kind of do not. We've seen Moreau have his chances without Waller, and we really have not seen him pop yet. So I think I'm still going with Cole Kmet there. I'm pretty confident he's the most talented of those three dudes. That doesn't necessarily equate to being the best fantasy play, but in this case, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Nick Foles kind of lean on his tight end heavily today. And Foles was kind of always in sync with his tight ends when he was with the Eagles. I don't know. Ertz was always a pretty quality play there. Tactical Six String asks, Ryan, Big Ben, or Tua? Standard scoring 4-point PPR, safest floor of these. Man, so I gave Tua over Big Ben before. Floor and ceiling, I don't know that there's always a huge difference, but here maybe Ben is just a little bit safer than Tua. It's really close, man. I have a hard time separating those two. I've got Tua ranked higher, but until last week, Ben had given us a pretty safe floor. So I'm not going to give you a firm answer there, but that's kind of the way I see it. Antonio asks, full point PPR, pick two, Gage, Gordon, Parker, Mooney. Um, in full PPR, I'm going Gage for sure. Just think he has been a very key part of the Atlanta passing game lately, and we're going to continue to see that go. Boy, I don't know how to go with Parker and Mooney. Those guys are right in mid-range wide receiver 3 territory for me. I believe right now I've got Parker 28th, Mooney 30th. I'm a little concerned about the Parker matchup against Marshawn Lattimore. He's probably going to run a majority of his snaps against him. And, Mooney, I'm concerned about the quarterback situation. So I think I'm going Gordon with Gage here. And Gordon catches a few passes, not as many as we'd like, but he's getting 1 or 2 catches at least every week. So that combined with his rushing floor, I think makes him the safest play probably out of those guys. Eric P. asked Joshua Palmer or Tyler Johnson. Thanks, Eric. I was waiting to get to a Palmer question. I'm really excited about the guy this week. I've got him up at wide receiver 29. He is the clear number 2 with Mike Williams and Jalen Guyton out. So it's going to be Keenan Allen and Palmer in 2 receiver sets. And what we've seen of Palmer so far has looked pretty good. I mean, a talented dude from Tennessee who was playing in a trash college offense last year. Now put him in one of the best passing games in the NFL, and he has looked really good. I'm excited about his future. I'm excited about his week 16. So, yeah, play him over Tyler Johnson. Targets are going to be a little squishier and hard to figure out in Tampa with probably Antonio Brown and Gronk getting a big majority share. And then I'm not sure how it's going to be split between Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, and Brashad Perryman. DW Lane, full PPR, Knox or Gesicki. I'd go with Knox, man. Especially with no Gabriel Davis and no Cole Beasley. I think Knox is going to be the safety blanket receiver for Josh Allen today against the Patriots. Fabian Conrad, greetings from Bavaria. Wow, we've got a lot of friends over in Germany today. So thanks for your show. Need wide receiver and flex, half-point PPR, Antonio Brown, T. Higgins, Najee Harris, Lamb, or Waddle. Wide receiver, I'm going with T. Higgins against the Ravens. Take advantage of that matchup. I really think we're going to see a big day for the Bengals passing game today, and Najee Harris has to be the flex. Just such a beefy workload for him every week. You have that safe floor, and there is a ceiling there too. Even though the Chiefs are not the bunny matchup that they used to be, I think you have to play Najee Harris against them today. Blue asks Pittman or Javonte Williams. Well, Pittman's gone already, my man. Sorry about that. I hope, I don't know. I probably would have said Javonte, but DF asked half-point PPR, Hollywood Brown or Carter. I'm going Carter there. Not feeling great about Hollywood Brown with a third-string quarterback. And we've seen this weird transition with Hollywood Brown lately where he has become like a short area receiver instead of a field stretcher. That's probably not going to change with the third stringer in. I don't think we're going to be seeing these 20-yard depth of target games from Hollywood the rest of the way. So I'm going Carter. Quick Callie asks, Dak Prescott or Halen Hurts? I think that's supposed to be Jalen Hurts. I'm going Dak. I'm going Jalen Hurts here. We've seen Dak in this little bit of a slump. And as mentioned earlier, Hurts has actually been pretty consistently churning out quarterback 1 weeks. It seems like the floor shouldn't be as safe as it is, but he runs and gives us rushing goodness pretty much every week. And, against a not great Giants defense today, I think that's the way to go. All right. Next up, we've got the Colonel. Hi, Pat. 5-point PPR flex, Mooney or Parker. I've got Parker just ahead, Colonel, but that is pretty close to the 50-50 zone. Not going to lie. I think Mooney gets the slightly easier matchup, even though the Seahawks have not been like terrible against opposing receivers lately anyway. And Parker gets the tougher matchup against Marshawn Lattimore, but I think Parker is the slightly better player. I think he's got the slightly better quarterback. That's just my lean here, but I can't answer that one with immense confidence because it's really close. Tracy Lee, Dak, or Joe Burrow. Oh man, this one's close. Tracy, slight lean towards Dak. It's right at my cutoff point. I do think there's major upside against the Ravens secondary for Burrow. One thing I'm a little concerned about with the Bengals, just a tiny concern, is that they are one of the slowest paced offenses in the league. It's just a minor thing where you get a few less plays from them, and it kind of takes a little chip out of the overall value of your Bengals. Like both guys, but I'm leaning Dak here. Colby Harvey, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or Antonio Brown. Boy, this would have been a tougher question, believe it or not, if Jared Goff were playing this week, but he is not, apparently. I'm going Antonio Brown. And I think even if Goff had played this week, I would have gone with AB, catching passes from Tom Brady, and as the clear alpha wide receiver with Godwin and Evans. Jennifer Hafner, need to play one in half-point PPR. DJ Moore, McLaurin, or Van Jefferson. Jennifer, I know it's been a rough run with Terry McLaurin this week, but I'm going back to the well one more time. Not feeling great about DJ Moore with the sketchy situation at quarterback for the Panthers. And Jefferson, it's tempting. Like the Vikings have not been have been a pick-on type of matchup for opposing wide receivers, but you just don't know what the target distribution is going to look like for the Rams this week with, Cooper Kupp obviously going to do a lot of damage, but then you've got the leftover split between Jefferson and OBJ. So McLaurin's still the number one guy there. He gets Heineke back. I think he gives you your best pot odds this week, to use a poker term. Lucien Thomas, Cordero Patterson, James Robinson, Justin Jackson, Josh Jacobs. Pick two. I think Jackson and Robinson. We have seen running backs just repeatedly smash this Jets defense this year, and I think we're going to see that again with James Robinson. No more Urban Meyer, no more restrictions on James Robinson usage, which is great if you are a James Robinson investor who got this far and survived the great Urban Meyer late season drought. So I think you're going with him, and as I mentioned before, Jackson in for a big workload in a smash matchup against the Texans today. Dirt Diggler asks Michelle or Barkley. I'm going Michelle. I think it's go with the guy in the good offense versus the guy in the terrible offense. And I'm confident enough that Sony Michel is going to get a lot of work. They seem to have turned to him as their main guy down the stretch here. Even with the possible threat of Cam Akers being active, I think it continues that way. Ask Odell or Hollywood, non-PPR. I think I'm going with Odell. The Hollywood concerns about him not really running the deep routes and playing with this third string quarterback. I think you want to lean into the better offense here, and that is OBJ and the Rams for sure. All right, let's see who's next. We have got Roy Holbrook, half-point PPR, Zeke or Gage. Oh, man. So glad we get to talk about Zeke. Yes, it's not been pretty. I don't think he's had over 55 rushing yards for maybe 8 weeks now, but there's been a pretty steady yardage floor at least. And, he's getting you about 60 to 80 total yards a week because he continues to have a role as a pass catcher. And there's like a 50-50 chance of him scoring a touchdown every week. And that's not terrible. Like that is a decent floor. It's not what you were hoping for when you drafted Zeke. I know that much, but I think he is a better percentage play than Gage this week. Rashawn Brooks, flex St. Brown or Sony, half-point PR. Slam dunk on Sony there with Amon-Ra, the sun god, catching passes from Tim Boyle. Royal Vision, Madison or Justin Jackson. We're going Madison there. Just a little more confidence in him and his talent. I think there's the reason he's at running back 7 and Jackson's at running back 12. Ducks fan Wally, half-point PPR, pick 2. Mixon, AB, David Montgomery. I'm going with the 2 running backs there. Mixon, Yes, like questionable health, but I mean, we've seen him get a pretty weighty share of the running game all year. And even though the Ravens are pretty good against the run, I think they're fifth in Football Outsiders DVOA metric that sort of measures uh, defensive strength based on every play of the season, cumulative. Anyway, not an easy matchup for Mixon, but that workload for him, I think, makes him a must play. And I think you also have to go with David Montgomery over Antonio Brown. Just kind of a wide range of outcomes for Antonio. I mean, he could absolutely smash, but Montgomery, I mean, he's going to get like minimum 15 touches today, maybe upwards of 20. Good run game matchup against Seattle, and I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Foles dumped the ball off to him quite a bit too. Miles Peacock, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or Tyler Johnson. There, Miles, I'm going to go with Amon-Ra. I think he is. We're seeing this concentration of targets now with no more TJ Hawkinson for the Lions. Pretty much all Amon-Ra and Josh Reynolds. And Amon-Ra has just been this safety blanket, short area guy. So hopefully there's not too much slippage with it going from Jared Goff to Tim Boyle. I don't like Amon-Ra quite as much with Boyle playing, but I do like him a little more than Tyler Johnson because there's going to be a very ambiguous target split in Tampa beyond AB and Gronk. I think those are the safe plays. And then who knows with Scotty Miller, Perryman, and Tyler Johnson. Antoine Spivey, Penny or Sony Michel flex. I'm going Sony Michel there pretty firmly. Mr. Grug, start two, full PPR. DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, or Parker. Look, if Swift plays, I'm playing him, and I think I'm playing him with Parker. I don't think you want to play both of the lines. So if Swift plays, play him over Amon-Ra and sit Amon-Ra. Michael Collins asks full point PPR in the flex, Antonio Brown or Melvin Gordon. Oh man, full PPR. I think I'm going Antonio Brown there. Got to take advantage of the format. And boy, I mean, we should see at least 8 or 9 targets out of Antonio Brown today. Who knows? But I'm leaning that way, and it could be. I don't know. There's a nice ceiling there for Antonio today as sort of the main guy at receiver with no Evans and Godwin. Austin Storms, PPR pick two, Justin Jackson, Javante, or Miles Sanders. I'm going with Justin Jackson for sure, and Javante by a nose over Miles Sanders. I just think he's the better player right now. And I mean, every time he touches the ball, there is a crackle of electricity. It's close, but plus with Sanders on that ankle injury, I feel a little bit better about the more talented and healthier dude with Javante. Nate Caraway, PPR, Henry, Komet, Moreau, or Fant. I'm going Henry here with the Patriots having some injury issues at wide receiver. We know they're going to get Bourne back this week, and we know they're going to have Jacoby Myers. They are not going to have, well, N'Keal Harry, I believe, is questionable. And I think we're going to see a decent target day for Henry today. So edge to him over Fant. My concern with Fant is that Albert Okwebunam played college ball with Drew Lock at Missouri. And so he's been seeing a lot of targets lately, and that was even with Teddy Bridgewater. Now he's paired with his old college quarterback. There's just going to be this unpredictable target split between Sutton, Fant, Judy, Tim Patrick, and Albert O. So I'm leaning away from Fant this week. Matthew Schneider, hello, Pat. Needs some help, brother. Full PPR RB question. Henderson, Swift, or Burkhead? Play Swift. What's that? Oh, Swift has been ruled out. Thank you. My producer, Chris, has just informed me we are not going to see DeAndre Swift today. Glad you gave me that. So I guess we're going Rex over Henderson. Man, I just don't know what the Rams split is going to be like, but we've seen Sony play ahead of Henderson lately, and maybe we see Cam Akers today. Even if not, I think we're going with Rex, who's been pretty clearly running as the running back one for the Texans. So here we are, man. Congratulations on being in week 16, making it there, and having Rex as your starting running back. If you make it out of this week, you're going to have a story for the grandkids. Wes Cook asks Damian Harris, Antonio Gibson, or Scary Terry in the flex. We don't know if Antonio Gibson is going to play. And there was some optimism, I think, in a report from Ian Rappaport this morning. I had seen some pessimism from a couple of the Twitter injury docs over the weekend. So pretty much a 50-50 here. You do have Terry to fall back on if Gibson doesn't go. I'm kind of inclined to wait on this rather than risk it with Damian Harris, who has the chance of re-aggravating the hamstring injury. Tough call, but I would wait for the Washington players. Aim to use Gibson, and if he's not able to go, roll out Scary Terry McLaurin. All right. Derek Paulson asks, full point PPR, Devontae Parker, Hollywood Brown, or Chase Claypool? Oh, man, that is a close one. I've got all those guys pretty tightly bunched in the rankings, Derek. So there is not going to be an immense amount of confidence here. It's not going to be Chase Claypool for me. All tools and no toolbox for this guy is how I would summarize it. And now he's kind of in the doghouse after we saw that Vikings game where he picks up the stupid taunting foul, poses while they're driving with under a minute left, trying to tie up the game, and like pauses to celebrate a first down, costing him seconds. And then he reportedly got into an argument with an assistant coach on the sideline last week. So I don't know what kind of snap share we're going to see from Chase Claypool. Wouldn't surprise me if Mike Tomlin punished him a bit. I think Chase ran fewer routes than Ray McLeod last week. So not playing him. Then it's between Parker and Hollywood Brown. I'm giving a slight edge to Parker. I just think he's better, even though it's not a great individual matchup for him. Kathy Pine, full PPR, one wide receiver, one flex. Should I start Waddle, Justin Jackson, or Gage? I'm sticking with Justin Jackson here with the big workload and a good matchup. Aaron Lowe, full point PPR, Braxton Berrios, or Josh Palmer. Man, we have a chance to get some sort of crazy 8 or 9 reception game from Berrios today, who I will be starting in the Scott Fish Bowl Conference Finals. But I'm going with Palmer here. Really like his situation as the second wide receiver for the Chargers against the Texans and catching passes. One guy's catching passes from Zach Wilson. One is catching passes from Justin Herbert. I know who I would prefer as the target distributor. Jose Hernandez, start 2 running backs PPR. Swift, Gibson, Barkley, or Justin Jackson. Well, we know Swift is out of the mix. And I think I'm going Barkley over waiting on Gibson with the iffy injury status. So Jackson for sure, and then Saquon for me. Roy White, would you start Jalen Hurts over Mahomes? I think we got that one already. Yeah, going Mahomes there. Okay, just want to remind you guys one more time about the Pristine auction giveaway we're going to be doing live today during the noon Eastern time kickoff live stream with Dan Harris right here on the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com. One lucky subscriber is going to receive an autographed Jerry Jeudy Denver Broncos jersey. How do you enter? Very simple. Just subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel before our 12 noon live stream. Ask a fantasy-related question during the show in the YouTube chat. And that's it. We'll announce a winner at the end of the stream. So please make sure you stick around to claim your prize. It's that easy. All right. On with the questions in the time we have left. Gusto. Hi, Pat. Oh, sorry about that. Hold on, Gusto. Hi, Pat. Can we trust Montgomery over Rojo or Justin Jackson in full PPR? Yeah, good question. So I'm going with Rojo over both of those guys. It's between Justin Jackson and Montgomery, and I've Montgomery ranked one spot higher. I think that's basically a coin flip. I think we can trust him because we know he's going to get this weighty workload. The Bears, as soon as Montgomery came back from the knee injury, they went right back to feeding him 20 carries a game. It's not a great offense, and the Justin Jackson offense is certainly better. I think Justin Jackson's going to get a lot of work, but there's a chance that Joshua Kelly gets 40%, 50% of the carries. I think there's just no chance that Montgomery doesn't have that big workload. So I like him a smidge more, but we are right in the coin flip zone with that one, Gusto. Mackenzie V says Kelsey is out, half point PPR, Uzuma, Everett, Conklin, or Moreau. I like Conklin the most there, even with Adam Thielen likely back this week. We have seen a pretty narrow passing tree for the Vikings, and Conklin is a prominent part of it. So I like Conklin. He might be kind of a safety valve if Kirk Cousins is getting heat up the middle. He was tormented by Akeem Hicks of the Bears last week, and now, hello, Aaron Donald is coming to town. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some like little quick hitters to Conklin tonight. David Martinez, Hunter Henry, or Dalton Schultz. I'm sticking with Schultz there. Kyle K, Merry Christmas, Pat. Merry Christmas, Kyle. Joe Mixon or CEH full PPR. Ooh, the full PPR narrows the gap a little bit, but I think it's still Mixon, even though I do like the CEH matchup. Mixon hasn't been quite as explosive as he was earlier in the season, but I still have a little more trust in him than CEH, who's been pretty hard to trust. Franz Chen, or Franz, sorry. Mixon or Ronald Jones, full point PPR. I've got Mixon, or I've got Rojo one spot ahead, a close call, but yeah, I'm going Rojo this week. Uncle Jedi, Dallas Goedert, or Mark Andrews. That's an interesting question now. Yeah, Mark Andrews certainly iffier with Josh Johnson there, but man, we have seen the Baltimore passing game work through Mark Andrews. As much as I don't trust Josh Johnson as a pass distributor, I think we're going to see the Ravens offense continue to function in much the same way. So I still like Andrews a little more than Goddard here. John Robbins, Happy New Year to you too, John. Half point PPR, one running back and one flex. Zeke, Madison, Josh Jackson, Montgomery, and Brown. So it's Madison for sure. And again, it comes to Jackson versus Justin Jackson versus Montgomery here for me. And I've got Montgomery ranked one spot higher than Jackson, but that is like a 50-50. So I would urge you to trust your guts over my slim 50 points, 1% belief that the better play is David Montgomery. Andrew T, standard scoring, Javonte Williams or Justin Jackson. I'm going Justin Jackson there just because we have a pretty good idea the workload is going to be heavier for Justin Jackson than Javonte, who we know is going to share work with Melvin Gordon. Henry Odom asks, Gesicki, Van Jefferson, or Devontae Parker? Really close between Parker and Jefferson, the two wide receivers, but I think I'm going Parker there. Slight edge, Henry. Matt 17 with Swift out. Does that mean Jamal Williams is a lock? Boy, I don't know about a lock, Matt, with Reynolds surprising us in recent weeks. I would think we would see something close to a 50-50 Jamal Reynolds workload share here. That's sort of the gut instinct. Valouche asks, Metcalf or Antonio Brown? Lush, I'm going to guess I don't have to really talk you out of benching Metcalf too hard the way things have gone for him lately. I think go with Antonio Brown here. He's going to probably be a pretty prominent part of the Buccaneers passing game today. And yeah, I mean, he might be chomping at the bit to get out there. And we just have not seen any chemistry between Russell Wilson and DK lately. And now Tyler Lockett's back. Like even with Lockett out last week and Metcalf seemingly, in a situation where he was going to have to be a target monster, it just didn't pan out. So I'm going with Antonio Brown there. Ezra Sachs. Pat need 3, Mixon, Michelle, Justin Jackson, or Ronald Jones. I'm going to say Sony is the odd man out there. I think you play Rojo and Jackson and Mixon, and Sony might have to share work a little bit. I also think the Rams are probably going to attack this Vikings secondary through the air. Frederick Warren asks, Mac, Heineke, or Lawrence in Superflex? I've got Mac ranked highest of that group. None are top 20 options. So we are really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. But hey, I know that is how it goes in super flex, where I think I've got Ian Book ranked as my quarterback 21 or 22 this week. I mean, that's how thin things are. I would go Mac there. I just think he's the best of those players. I don't like that Heineke matchup against Dallas. I think Heineke's averaged like under 200 passing yards in his last 4 starts. And Trevor Lawrence, even in the Jets matchup, there's just nothing you can trust with that guy. 1 touchdown pass in his last either 7 or 8 games. Yikes. Blake Eaker, Noah Fant, Jared Cook, Cole Kmet. Blake, I know I just trash talked Noah Fant, but I still think I like him a little more than Cook and Kmet. RB Fair, hello Pat, Amon Ra, Van Jefferson, Duke Johnson, or Henderson for flex, half point PPR. I'm the underdog. Okay, so you're looking for upside RB. I think I'm going Jefferson there. Boy, we saw Duke have this majority workload split last week, and I just don't know if it's going to stay that way with the Dolphins, or if they maybe get it's back to 50-50 between Duke and Myles Gaskin. But either way, it's really a bad run game matchup against the Saints. And the Miami offensive line is not good. So I'm not really trusting him fully there. Lyle Slauson, 2 full PPR of these, Mixon, Gage, or Justin Jackson. I'm going with the 2 receivers, or the 2 running backs, Mixon and Justin Jackson. Kerry Rogers in full PPR, start 2. Sorry, hold on. Start 2, Ronald Jones, Justin Jackson, Beckham or Carter. I'm going Rojo and Justin Jackson pretty decisively there. B family, pick 2, Amari Cooper, Gallup, Josh Reynolds, Treadwell, Robbie Anderson, Palmer. Okay, we do not want to start both of the Cowboys and limit your upside there. And I think we definitely do want to start Joshua Palmer in this great situation where he is the number 2 receiver in a really good passing game with a really good quarterback and a good matchup. So that leaves it between Cooper and Gallup. And earlier in the week, I would have found this a harder decision to make, but Cooper has been talking about needing to get more involved, wanting to get more involved. I think we might see a little bit of the squeaky wheel effect today, where Cooper, gets a few extra looks because he has piped up. So I'm going to go Cooper over Gallup and give you Cooper and Palmer as my recommendations. Brett L, start Burrow over Brady. I've got Brady ranked 1 spot higher, Brett. I mean, we lose a little bit of confidence in Brady without Godwin or Evans, but he does get AB back. He's still got Gronk. After being kind of humiliated on national TV last week, I wouldn't be surprised if we got an angry Tom game. So as much as I like Burrow against that injury-ravaged Ravens secondary, I'm going with Brady. I've got him ranked 1 spot higher. Marshawn Cook asks, CD, Gage, or Damian Harris, half-point PPR. I'm going with Lamb there. Bill Hayes, Devonta Smith, Josh Reynolds, or Tyler Johnson, standard. I know it hasn't been pretty with Devonta Smith, and we're not getting the target volume that we want. It's been a while since he's had more than 6 targets in a game, but I'm still playing him this week, I think, over Reynolds and Tyler Johnson, just because I don't know what the target volume is going to be like for those dudes. And I'm pretty confident Devonta Smith is the best player of that group. Rich asks, Bengals or Chargers defense? I think I'm going Bengals here against Josh Johnson, the 3rd stringer. That just kind of elevates the Bengals to like a top 5, top 6 play this week. Dave Marin, Bills or Chargers defense. That's a little tougher. I think I'm going Chargers. I don't like the Bills defense so much against the Patriots offense, which is pretty conservative. They like to run a lot. It's just hard to score defensive points against a team with that sort of profile. Matt Kravitz, Burrow or Cousins. That one's easier for me. I'll take Burrow. Man, we saw Cousins just rattled by interior pressure last week. And boy, oh, look, it's Dan Harris here on the live stream, waiting, all ready to go 10 minutes early. Dan's going to be giving you some, shaky advice after this. So better get those questions in now while you can before Dan hops in and tries to ruin your lineups. So I'm going with Burrow over Cousins. Again, play that matchup with Burrow against the Ravens secondary. Um, all right, Michelle, Frederico Logan, Goddard or Knox, standard. I'm going Knox there. Just think he's going to be an important safety blanket for Josh Allen today with no Cole Beasley and no Emmanuel Sanders. Michelle Simmons, who should I flex? Javonte, Antonio Brown, or Chase? Michelle, go with Chase in that matchup against Kevon Seymour, journeyman cornerback, and the injury-depleted Ravens secondary. Bradley Treasure, St. Brown, Penny, or Mooney, full PPR. I'm almost inclined to play the running back here, Bradley, even though I don't think Penny adds a great deal of value as a pass catcher in PPR. That makes it kind of close. Actually, check that, Bradley. I'm going to go with Mooney here as just still the number one wide receiver, even though I don't love the Bears quarterback situation. That's kind of a tough call. I'm going Mooney. Jose Garcia Myers or Tyler Johnson, full PPR. I would chance it with Tyler Johnson. A little more of a wide open offense here. I'm just worried about Myers as far as not having much of a ceiling because we know he's going to average like 10 yards per catch, not much big play potential, and not much touchdown potential since he scored exactly one touchdown in his career. Scott Brown, half point flex. Jamal Williams, Pollard, or Devontae Parker? That's an interesting one. I'm gonna say Pollard here. I just think I don't know what the workload split's going to be with Detroit, and it's Detroit, with a backup quarterback. So I don't know what kind of touchdown odds you get with Jamal Williams. And we've talked about the Parker tough matchup with Marshawn Lattimore. Pollard, even with this torn plantar fascia, looks really explosive whenever he gets the ball, and like he does get like 10 touches a game. And he's in a pretty good matchup against Washington. So I'm leaning slightly towards Parker here. My knee says hi, pick 2 in PPR, Zeke, CEH, Rojo, flex. Should I flex the remaining over DJ Moore or McLaurin? Actually, yes. I think I'm playing all of the running backs here, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Zeke, and Rojo, and playing them both over DJ Moore and his shaky quarterback situation, and McLaurin and his erratic output. Ben Cohn, Jared Cook, or Hunter Henry. I'm going Hunter Henry there. John Sisson, Beckham, or Amon-Ra St. Brown. Go with the better offense and the better quarterback. Go with OBJ, John. James Kim, pick 2.5 point PPR. Gibson, Jacobs, Justin Jackson. Go with the healthy 2. Justin Jackson, the clear number 1 for me there. And Jacobs, number 2, who's actually boosting his value with his pass catching lately. So just don't even know if Gibson is going to go this week. Andrew Carroll, pick 2, full PPR. Waddle, Cooper, Gage. I'm going Waddle and Gage there. Really like Waddle against a Saints defense that has had all sorts of trouble with slot cornerbacks. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, I think the Saints slot corner is given up a pretty high catch rates, and we have seen Tua pepper his old college teammate. So going with him and going with Gage over Cooper. Tequila Mockingbird. That's brilliant. I love that. Hey, Pat, happy holidays. Happy holidays, Tequila. In full PPR, which 2 have the safest floor projected to win by a lot? Rojo, Kamara, CPAT, or Madison? Wow. Asking if I could possibly bench Kamara or CPAT. All right, so I'm going to say you've got to play Kamara. I think they're going to get him the ball a lot regardless, especially with Ian Book. I mean, the uncertainty of the Saints offense with Ian Book at quarterback, yes, that chips away at the floor a little bit, but how can the game plan not be to get Alvin Kamara a whole bunch of touches? So I'm going to say him, and then I'm going to take Madison over CPAT for the safer floor, just because we have heard Arthur Smith talk about like wanting to do some workload management lately with Patterson. And I think Madison is not going to be under any sort of workload management. I think he's going to get a lot of touches today. Colin, Kelly, Gage, St. Brown, or McLaurin, half point PPR. a reluctant endorsement for McLaurin here, Colin. Just by a little bit over gauge. Don't trust St. Brown really with Tim Boyle at quarterback. Close call, but I'm going McLaurin. Wolf Jenkins, Najee Harris, or Justin Jackson in full PPR. Wolf, as much as I like Josh Jackson this week, don't get cute here, man. Go with Najee in the safe workload. Chris Litwin, flex, full PPR, Waddle or T. Higgins. Chris, attack that matchup with the Ravens. Take T. Higgins against their injury depleted secondary. Last one, LSU Armada. Hope you're feeling good about the Chip Kelly hire, LSU. St. Brown, Renfro, Gage, PPR. Oh man, you're playing Renfro. Don't worry about the bad week 15. I think Renfro is going to bounce back in a big way. So, you guys, it's been great answering questions. Hope you had a great holiday, and best of luck to you in week 16. It is a big one. Go out and get those W's. So I'm going to turn it over to my partner in crime, Dan Harris, to take you here up until kickoff. And a big thanks to my producer, Chris, walking me through this. This was my first Sunday live stream, and he walked this rookie through it perfectly. So, all right, I'm out of here, guys. Best of luck to you. Catch you later.